Welcome to Brown Body Love Yogi. Today I'm going to be doing a morning yoga session reading out of The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie, and I will link information to the Hazel Den meditation series below. And today's meditation is on fear, and it reads, "Do not be too timid and squeamish about your actions. All life is an experiment. The more experiments you make, the better. What if they're a little coarse and you may get your coat soiled or torn? What if you do fail and get fairly rolled in the dirt once or twice? Up again, you shall never be so afraid of a tumble." Ralph Waldo Emerson. Fear can be a big stopper for many of us. Fear of fragility, fear of failure, fear of making a mistake, fear of what others might think, fear of success. We may second guess our next action or word until we talk ourselves out of participating in life. But I failed before. I can't do it good enough. Look at what happened last time. What if? These statements may disguise fear. Sometimes the fear is disguising shame. After I finished the first 2 chapters of a book I was writing, I read them and grimaced. No good, I thought. Can't do it. I was ready to pitch the chapters and my writing career out the window. A writer friend called, and I told her about my problem. She listened and told me, "Those chapters are fine. Stop being afraid. Stop criticizing yourself and keep on writing." I followed her advice. The book I almost threw away became a New York Times bestseller. Relax. Our best is good enough. It may be better than we think. Even our failures may turn out to be important learning experiences that lead directly to and are necessary for an upcoming success. Feel the fear, then let it go. Jump in and do it, whatever it is. If our instincts and path have led us there, it's where we need to be. The meditation for today is, today I will participate in life to the best of my ability, regardless of the outcome that makes me a winner. We're going to start with mountain pose. If you're not there already, place your feet hip width apart. Make sure that both feet are placed with equal amounts of energy and balance. And open up your palms. Keep your arms next to your hips or out a little bit. And focus on your breathing, your inhales and exhales, making sure that you are looking to clear your mind and set your intention for today, whether it's the reading we just did or your own intention, just honoring that space for yourself and for today. Inhale for 4 and exhale for 4. Inhale for 4 and exhale for 4. Allowing your breathing to take rhythm as we get ready for an upward salute, raising your arms slowly when you're ready towards the sky. Grounding our feet and pulling that energy from the top of the sky, from the sun, from the clouds, down through the tips of your fingers, your neck, your chest, your belly, down to your hips, knees, your calves, and finally through your feet. Taking our last few breaths in upward salute and slowly bringing our body down, both hands towards the mat for a standing forward fold. Keeping our back straight. You might notice one side is tighter than the other. Gently leaning towards the mat, but keeping your back straight. And feel free to place your hands on the mat if you can reach, or you can also modify this pose by using some blocks and finding the height of the block that is comfortable for you. And gently lifting up your body just slightly towards your shins. So you want to be continuing this motion where you grab your shins with both palms and then place both palms on the mat. I'm doing this modified, so instead of grabbing my shins, I'm actually grabbing the blocks whenever needed. Otherwise, you can just place your hands on your shins like I'm doing now, and then the mat. I'm going to show you what it looks like from a different angle, but I invite you to continue doing the standing half forward fold and the modified forward fold if you need it. And that means dropping your arms and then putting the palms of your hand towards your shins by while keeping your back straight. We're just going to continue to warm up the back to prepare it for our next pose. So you can continue to doing the standing half forward fold, bringing your hands to the mat and bringing your hands to your shin. And when you're ready, prepare for a chair pose by lifting up both arms towards the sky and dropping your hips as if you were sitting down in a chair. Feel free to take this pose even lower if you're able to. And you want to focus on your breathing, bending your knees ever so slightly, but not past your toes. So focusing on keeping your hips back. I'm going to show you a different angle so you can see what it looks like. But I invite you to continue on your chair pose. Don't focus on the burning sensation you might feel in your legs. Focus on your breathing. Next, I invite you to Warrior One pose by lifting up your hips. Come to standing and take your left leg forward, taking a step forward, and your back right leg opening up ever so slightly, and lifting up your arms and dropping your hips. For Warrior One, standing strong, standing balance. Now for Warrior Two, we're going to extend both arms, keeping them balanced and even. Next, we're going to reverse warrior pose by dropping our right arm towards our shin and our left arm, keeping it straight out. Back to warrior two by extending both arms. Swinging our arms back and legs back to chair pose. And continuing to warm up our chair pose. I'm going to show you what it looks like from a different angle to do the warrior one. Step your foot front. Angle your back foot out. Lift up your arms towards the sky. Warrior one, extend both arms for warrior two. Keep a slight bend on your front knee. Bring your reverse left side arm up, right side arm towards your hip for a reverse back warrior. Gaze at your arm that's extended to. Next, swing your arm back towards the mat for an extended triangle pose. Lift the other arm. Try to make a straight line with both arms. Next, swing your arm back up to warrior two, warrior one by swinging your arms back up towards the sky and jumping out of the pose, shaking it out as you need before we prepare for honoring the other side of your body, doing the same poses. So when we're ready, I invite you to come back to chair pose for a few breaths. Inhale and exhale as you warm up your body again to bring balance and honoring the other side. When you're ready, set up for warrior one by taking a step forward with the opposite leg, lifting both arms up towards the sky. Taking some breaths as we prepare for warrior two, extending both arms, keeping balance. Making sure that your hips are aligned, coming back to warrior one. I'm aligning my hips as I'm noticing that I'm having some trouble balancing. When you're ready, extend both arms again for warrior one. Making sure that your hips are aligned straight. Your foot is forward but not over your knee. Extending arms out for warrior two. And preparing your body for extended triangle pose by bringing one arm up towards the sky and the other one leaning in towards your knee, and then straining out towards the mat. Then swinging your arm back for reverse warrior pose, back down to extended triangle pose. You can use a block to extend, or you can just place the bottom of your palm of your hands on the mat. Back to standing. You can shake it out and Next, we're going to do one last set of warrior 1, 2, and reverse triangle poses. So prepare for warrior 1, align your hips, swing your arms up, swing your arms out for warrior 2. Put some energy towards your right leg. Then drop your extended arm and bring it back for reverse warrior. Back to warrior 2. Back to triangle pose by dropping your leading arm towards the mat, extending the opposite arm, trying to keep a straight line as best you can. When you're ready, take some deep breaths, inhale, and lift your body up for warrior 2. Back to reverse warrior. Back to warrior 2 and extending both arms. Warrior 1, bringing both arms up towards the sky. And bringing your body back to a stance. Next, we're going to prepare for tree poses by starting out with a mountain pose, both feet on the mat, arms extended out, and gently start bringing up your left leg and the sole of your foot towards your shin or your knee, depending on how much balance you have on this day. The idea is to keep the balance and keep your tree pose. As you can see, I'm having a hard time balancing at first in the morning. It helps to focus on a spot on the ground to keep your balance. Sometimes I do a little more stretching or movement in order to prepare the bottom of my foot, making sure that I'm putting all the energy into my foot, and then trying the opposite side. You can keep a gaze or your eyes open, and for a more challenging pose, you can also just close your eyes and bring the sole of your foot higher on your leg. So instead of my shin, you could put it on above your knee. And we're just going to take a few minutes to keep balancing on both sides for this tree pose. As you can see, I am falling out of it. So work on how long you can hold it for. And it is okay to fall out of it. Just do your best to bring balance into your life today. to continue to balance through these tree poses on both feet. Please know that your balance is going to be different on both legs. You may also want to challenge yourself a bit more by lifting up your knee. And if you're able to reach towards your toe, binding your toe. I am not, but I am just testing out to see how far I can even get with doing that. So the idea is to lift up your leg, extend your knee up, and touch your toe. And doing that on both sides. If you cannot do this, which I cannot, continue to do your tree poses, holding them for as long as you can in the next few breaths. Next, I invite you to extend both arms up towards the sky and gently bring your body down and meet me on the mat on all fours. We're going to prepare for cat and cow stretches. This is another great way to bring in energy into your body and strengthen your lower back. So at an inhale, extend your body, and an exhale, curl your body for a cow movement. This movement is being led by your hips and your head, but be gentle with yourself and making sure that you match the breath with the movement. So in an exhale, you're doing cow, and exhale, you're doing cat. The other thing that you want to be mindful of for cat and cow poses is the placement of your arms. At this time, my wrists were hurting a little bit, so what I decided to do was warm them up by just doing some swift, gentle rounds and shaking out my wrists. And I'm going to warm up my wrists a little more by putting more weight onto them and gently creating circles with my body. And then swinging back and forth. Again, the idea is just to bring a little movement and weight to your wrist. And we're going to prepare for our next pose by laying on the ground with our bellies down and doing cobra by lifting our bodies up through our arms, making sure that we're keeping our arms straight, exhaling down. And I'm trying to align my shoulders and arms to match for a straight line, lifting up again in an inhale, holding it for a couple breaths, then gently bringing my chest and my forehead down to the mat. The wiggle motion is not required. I just like doing it because it cracks my back. But do lift through your arms on the inhale and then bring your upper body back down to the mat on the exhale. Again, continue these motions as it makes sense to you, following your breath. Just focusing on the energy coming through your arms, through that lower back, keeping your belly up and your hips down in cobra. And continuing that motion for as long as you need. This is a really great way to straighten out your back. And when you're ready, lift those hips back. Extend your arms. Drop your forehead to the mat. And then gently come up on all fours. And tuck your toes. We're going to go to a downward facing dog. Extend your arms, tuck your toes in, and lift your bum up, your hips up towards the sky. Take a few deep breaths in here in this pose. And when you're ready, walk your feet or your hands to meet you at the mat. And we're just going to hang. You can cross your arms to bring in more stretch. You can put your arms on your hands on the mat or on your shins, depending on how flexible you are this morning. Then we're gonna lift our bodies gently and take our fingertips to the sky. Take a couple of deep breaths in. Inhaling. Exhaling. And then getting our bodies ready for corpse pose. For me, I always need to typically stretch out my hips, and I like doing the twist to continue to do that. So if you want, before the corpse pose, go ahead and do what your body needs. You can repeat any of the poses, or you can join me in a spinal twist by dropping your legs to one side and allowing your arms to rest. You can gaze towards the legs that are twisted, making sure that you keep your shoulder on the mat. And when you're ready, lift those knees up, flex them out, and do the opposite side. And do as much as you need at that pose. When you're ready, just join me at corpse pose, which is dropping your full body on the mat. You might find some tightness once you're in corpse pose, and so you need to do whatever your body needs so that it can fully rest. I'm finding some kinks and cracks. So go ahead and take care of those before we go full into Shavasana. Allowing the back of our heads to drop and rest in the mat, letting go. Thanking our bodies for taking us on this journey today. Resting our shoulders on the mat and letting go of any stress or tension. Feeling our breath, lifting our bodies and dropping them even deeper into the ground. And now we feel our back releasing tension on the mat. Release any cells, muscles, or tension that you may have. Now be mindful of your hips being dropped on the mat and your legs, your ankles, releasing tension throughout your whole body, allowing and giving yourself this gift of rest and breath. You may also start thinking about your intentions for the day. When you're ready, start wiggling your toes. You may want to start moving the soles of your feet up on the floor, stretching out your arms, wiggling your fingers. Do whatever it is your body needs to come back. Whether that is doing a twist, which is what I'm doing. I love to hear the cracking in my body when I'm doing the twist. It feels like a hug for my organs. So as we're ending our practice, take this moment to bring in those intentions to these last few minutes of movement. Make your breath intentional. You may hold the pose for a long time, or you may not. You may be continuing to, at this time, give your body different poses. Just making sure that you're honoring your body and what it needs. You can join me on another full body twist for the opposite side. Dropping your shoulders on the mat. Taking an intentional deep breath and rest in. As we hold these poses to restore our bodies and quiet our minds. When you're coming out of the full body twist, be sure to bring your knees up. You can hug your knees. You can swing your knees from left to right. And I'm taking a couple moments for some more final stretches here. When you're ready, allow your body to sink back into the mat for the final Shavasana. Meet me back in corpse pose. Focusing on our breathing. Allowing it to flow organically. And allowing our minds to rest before we get into the day. One last deep inhale and exhale. And when you're ready, start wiggling your fingers, gently wiggling your toes. You can give yourself a hug or just hold yourself in the mat. No need to rush off. And when you're ready, join me for seated position. As you join me in seated position, you might find you need to put some blocks underneath your knees. Or that you may need to pet your dog for a bit. Just join me with what's comfortable and find your breath. You can also place the blocks or blankets underneath your butt so that it gives a lift and it makes it a little easier for you to join me in seated. When you're ready, bring both palms together. Take a few deep breaths in with me. Inhale for 4. And exhale for 4. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste.